So ever since I started playing BTD6, there have been people constantly asking me the question, is the 204 bomb shooter better than the 024? And in fact, this thing is so popular that it comes up in the Google autofill when you type in 204 or 024. So in this video, we'll do some tests and finally put this question to rest and see which crosspath is better and why. In the first test, the 204 bomb shooter did about 16k damage and the 024 did about 6k damage, which is an insane difference. I mean, clearly the 204 is way better than the 024 as a standalone tower. But let's introduce an alchemist to the table and see how they do, because that's a more realistic scenario. So with the 320 alchemist, the 204 bomb shooter did about 22k damage, but the 024 did about 18.5k damage, which means that a lot of the difference that we had earlier got made up. And finally, with the 420 alchemist, the 204 did about the same, actually 22,000 damage, but the 024 almost equalizes by nearly cleaning everything up with about 21.5k pops. So they're about equal, with a slight edge to the 204 having more pierce and more damage per shot, but the 024 activating clusters more often because of the attack speed. And even though the difference is small with this amount of bloons sent, it's pretty consistent actually, with hundreds of thousands of RB being sent. So to decide which one is better, we need to do one more test, and that is the test of the tier 3s. So without an alchemist, the 203 does about 5k damage, while the 023 does 1.3k, an absolutely massive difference in damage. With the 420 alchemist, the 203 does about 10k damage and the 023 barely does about 6k damage. So there we have it, the 203 and the 204 outclass the 023 and the 024 on almost all aspects, with the difference starting to be made up for when an alchemist is introduced. The better tower though is still a 204 bomb shooter because of its better build-up, so the 203 does way more than a 023, and the 204 is better as a standalone tower and doesn't need as much of a help to be useful as the 024 does.